Did you ever consider to change your business model, but you didn't know where to start? Today, I will help you to get on this journey and I will take you through how to shift your business model. My name is Maaike Doyer. I was born in the Netherlands, Holland, and 6 years ago I moved to the United States, where I expanded my company to San Francisco and New York. Last year I moved to Singapore and I really love it. I always joke, US is too much looking inside. They barely understand there's a whole other world out there. Europe is retired. And I really believe Asia, that's where it's happening today. This region is really booming and I'm super excited to be part of this ecosystem. So let's talk about business model shifts. Is any one of you familiar with this book? Or maybe you don't recognize the cover, but you've heard of the business model canvas? With my previous company, we produced this book. This model, the BMC, is a very popular tool, which will help you to understand how your company creates, delivers, and captures value. Not only students and startups love the BMC, many corporates are using this as well. So if you aren't familiar yet, make sure you read up on this. When you just start to use this tool, you often start with using it to understand your current business model. And when you do that, one big question pops up. Where is the value created? And more importantly, where is value created next? It's time to shift. And why is that so important? Well, business as usual is dead. There's so many things happening around us and everything happens at a super fast speed. That means that there's a lot of uncertainty. And most people don't like uncertainty. So they start to look for certainty. They label things, they write business plans, and they feel very happy when they do that. However, we need to stop writing business plans. Perhaps that's the best news of today. So why is writing business plans useless? I've never seen a business plan surviving the first customer contact. And I've never seen a business plan that turned out to be true. It's just a bunch of assumptions. We need to stop believing in fairy tales. And we need to find a way to deal with this uncertainty. For example, look at COVID. Yes, it's awful for mankind, but from a strategic perspective, it actually was really fascinating to see the world and especially companies respond to this. When that hit us last year, I saw 3 different types of responses from corporates: freeze, flight, and fight. So a couple of companies, they really halted all activities, waiting for this to pass. They were like, I'm just not moving. Maybe this will pass if I don't give it any attention. And then there were the others that were running away. They really thought this was the end and they were going through massive cost cuttings. And then there were the fighters, the real entrepreneurs. They were the first to get out of that initial shock and they stepped up. You saw a few of these companies responding to the immediate needs. For example, companies built respirators and other urgent materials needed in healthcare. You might remember this mask. Decathlon invented the Easy Breathe diving mask, which they patented. But when COVID hit, Decathlon reacted by sharing the mask plans and the technical information. It also suspended all sales of the mask to ensure availability for others. In other words, the patent holder of the invention has given third parties the opportunity to exploit the invention by giving them a free license without compensation. So what you see now after the first shock of the pandemic, we're now in the next stage, business innovation. How can we build a business that will last? COVID has been really good to take a break, to pause and to reflect, and to really think deeply about what is next for your company. And when you want to shift your business model, the first thing to do is to look around you. Have a close look. What's really happening out there? For example, one big trend that we see is the customer is in charge, more than ever. Because of the availability of personal devices like phones and laptops, the customer now has access to so many options more than ever before. And for example, trading. That used to be the exclusive domain of Wall Street brokers. But today, every individual can be a stockbroker on their mobile phone. With initiatives like Robinhood, with as little as $5, you can become a shareholder of Google or any company you want. Same for physical goods, for example, cars. Where before it was always about owning a car, these days you don't need to own a car anymore, as long as you have access to it. When I moved to the United States, I sold my car and I never missed it. The same here in Singapore. Whenever I need a car, there's always a car available for me just around the corner, and with initiatives like Blue SG or DriveLab. Another big trend that we see is technology. Technology is everywhere, but not always present. We don't see it, but these days, everything is connected with each other. And there are many amazing technologies like AI, blockchain, 5G. These are very promising technologies. However, without a solid business model, technology is just another shiny object. Some companies think that by hiring an engineer, all of a sudden they can win. But that's not how it works. You really need to think about your business model. And what about this? Pollution, global warming. We really created a big mess, didn't we? I mean, what we do is we take resources from the forest, we create stuff in the factory, we shortly use it, and then we throw it away and set it on fire. It's time to take a break. We need to pause and really think like a designer. We need to redesign our business models. It's time to shift your business model. We just published this book, Business Model Shifts. We analyzed a couple of 100 companies all over the world and their business models, and we identified 6 different shifts. We identified what the patterns are behind the shifts and how that shows up in the business model. And by understanding these patterns, you will also be able to create your own shifts. Let's have a look at the definition of a business model shift. It is a deliberate and systematic move towards more relevance and value for your customer. So let me take you through the 6 shifts and their characteristics. The first one, the services shift. The service shift is a move from selling products towards getting the job done by selling the use of a product. So what does this mean? It's not about selling products anymore. It is about making sure that people constantly use your product to get their job done. That means the product needs to be of high quality, since it needs to be used over and over again. For example, Rent the Runway. Instead of selling clothes, they offer a subscription where they will deliver outfits to your door. You can wear something different every day without having to own all these clothes. Rolls-Royce is having a similar business model, where instead of selling the engine, they sell the power by the hour. The services shift. The next shift is the stakeholder shift. Generating revenue and making a profit is a result, not a goal. A company will destroy long-term value if it neglects its stakeholders. It is about ensuring that value is created for all stakeholders, customers, employees, partners, society, and investors simultaneously. It's not about the short term, it's about the long-term value. From creating as much revenue as possible for the shareholder, shifting to creating a value proposition that has a functional, social, and emotional value. Some examples here, Tom shoes. You buy a pair and they will give a pair to someone in need. Or my favorite chocolate brand, Tony Chocolonely. They want to make chocolate 100% slave-free. There's still a lot of child labor and modern slavery in the cocoa business, and that's what they're fighting about. The best news is you can buy Tony Chocolonely as well in Singapore. I've seen it on Lazada, FairPrice, and Little Farms. Pick the one with the orange label, you won't regret it. Let's move to the digital shift. The shift from analog to digital. It's not about the shiny technology. It's about leveraging IT and data science to really engage, amaze, and connect your customers. Technology is the enabler. It's not the value proposition. Where analog is about pushing a product to the customer, digital is optimized for frequent transactions. It enables mass personalization. And it's not necessarily digital only. It's about the integration between physical and digital in a seamless way to really enhance the customer experience. For example, Warby Parker, an online retailer of glasses. Who would have thought people want to buy glasses online? And Disney is a great example of a digital model in an offline world. What they saw was lines were getting longer in theme park. Customer satisfaction was going down. So they applied digital transformation to enhance the relationship with the customer and to transform the experience into something magical. My Magic, a wristband and an app combined. And with My Magic in place, Disney was able to accommodate an additional 3,000 visitors. And they all spent more money, it boosted satisfaction, increased revenue, and it reduced waiting time. So that was a digital shift. The platform shift. This is a very popular one. Throughout history, the biggest companies used pipeline business model to become what they are today. But it only took a decade for new entrants using platform business models to eat their lunch. Why push when you can create a pull? And as a platform, you basically facilitate the interaction between the parties. You connect people who need something with people who have something for the benefit of both parties. And the goal is to create a strong network effect wherein customers from both the demand and the supply side help to spread the word to others. Where in a pipeline business model, you need to do everything yourself, in a platform business model, others will do the work for you. Two very popular examples of the platform shift are Alibaba and Grab. Those examples don't need a lot of explanation. Grab is still seen as a transportation company, but many of you know that they're more and more starting to become the super app, offering more than just transportation. The exponential shift. This is a difficult one. Most business models begin with a short burst of exponential growth, followed by a long period of linear growth, if they grow at all. What if you could take your business model from 10% improvement to a 10x growth? This shift is focusing on creating the right environment with a balance of business model elements to enable exponential scale during the life of the business model. And to do this, most companies must invest in exponential technologies like AI, because that will really enable the business to continually adjust to customer needs and other inputs and outputs. It's not just about technology though. At the core, it's about addressing some grand, sometimes a little unreachable challenge. It's about eliminating big problems and taking big steps. Profits are often secondary to scale. In a linear growth business model, people are central. And you just hire more employees and you can grow linear. But in an exponential business model, technology is the driver. Companies need to invest in technology. Two examples we all know are Alphabet, Google, and SpaceX. Already since the humble beginning of Google in the Stanford Computer Lab, Google has made it mission to organize the world's information and make that information accessible to everyone, and thereby improving the lives of many. Big goals, the exponential shifts. The circular shift. Our traditional economy has limited growth potential because linear business models exhaust resources to make products that eventually go to waste. Circular business models overcome these limits, and they build an economy where business growth and a positive socio-environmental impact reinforce each other. The aim of this business model strategy is to close the resource loop. The producing company takes full responsibility for the use of the resources, and they work to ensure that no resource, material, energy, or water is wasted. In a linear business model, we make and sell, and the customer throws it away. But in a circular business model, we build something to last. So instead of throwing it away, we create a channel to take it back and to reuse. Some examples here are Nike and Renewal Mill. Nike grinds, they collect recycled materials coming from Nike manufacturing scrap or unsellable products, worn out sneakers, and instead of letting those materials go to waste, they collect them and process them into new materials. Or Renewal Mill, all about upcycled ingredients. They sell ingredients with a story. For example, okara flour, which is made from the waste, the byproduct, from a tofu factory. There you have it, 6 ways to create new value for customers. And these shifts are not exclusive. We often see that various shifts are combined for further strengthening of the business model. So with all this information, I gave you a starting point to think about shifting your business model in a structured way. What I'm curious about, which shift would you like to start working on? So, dare to shift. Don't wait for it. Be proactive, be a designer. With these 6 shifts, you can now create 6 possible business model options for your organization. Don't just have endless meetings about changing your business. Stop talking about it. Take a piece of paper and design the business model option that you have in mind. And don't stop there. You can easily create 3-4 different business model options in just a few hours. So do it, and do it now. And when you do it, don't forget to launch. Don't spend too much time overthinking, because it's never done. No analysis paralysis. Get in touch with your customers. Launch your product, even though you know it's not perfect yet. Because remember this famous quote by Reid Hoffman from LinkedIn. If you're not embarrassed by your first product launch, you've launched too late. Well, don't hesitate to reach out to me with any question you might have. I'm really excited to see the business model shift you will apply within your organization.